Hello friends, this is Amit Ranjan and you are watching your favorite channel Java Mitra.
Here I will try my best to communicate database with table. For this purpose I have created a database with three fields: roll name and faculty. It is already discussed in my video series of JDBC where I have used Oracle. In this example I am using MySQL database so that you can also be familiar with MySQL. So let us go with small slide to see that what I will do in this video session. My GUI design is, the first one is JFrame with border layout, which is we know that it is a default layout manager for JFrame, and then a panel called main panel with grid layout of 1 row and 2 columns. So here I will place two different panel. First one with text field and label to enter data, and I keep its name as entry panel, and one more for buttons, so I will keep its name as button panel. In the entry panel I will place roll name faculty label with corresponding text field, and in button panel I will keep 4 buttons as insert, update, delete and reset. And in the central region of my JFrame I will store our JTable. This is what I will program, and then I will try to explain how to insert, update and delete rows from our table and also communicate with database in the same time. Let us go. I am going to show this program code with the help of Netbeans ID. So let us create a new project and then select Java application as a new project, and then click next button, and let us give it a name as table using table with JDBC. Use a dedicated folder for storing libraries, and then finish. Let us create a new class name as main and remove this. Now remove the comments. Let us import some necessary packages for database access. We need the SQL package and import javax.swing.table.sts. Let us extend the main class with JFrame. We need some components to create our frame. So let us have some label, text field and button. 4 label, 3 text field for roll name and faculty, and 4 button for insert, update, delete and reset. Now having a instance member of JTable and also a default table model as JTable. Now let us create a constructor for it, and I will make a method as init component to initialize all components. So calling here. So let us create init component method, and now create instance of all these data member. First one with name as roll, second with name faculty, and label 4 for some information if required. In the same way, just create the object of text fields and then button object. So in this way we have created our all the component objects. So now we need to place them properly in our frame. So to place them properly in our frame, let us create some panel object. A main panel to hold 2 different panels. Let us set the layout of entry panel as grid layout with size of 3 and 2. 3 rows and 2 columns, and then put our label and text fields into the entry panel. So in this way we have kept our label and text field in entry panel. Let us set the layout of button panel as grid layout with size of 4 row and 1 column, and add all the buttons here. So now we have to keep our entry panel and button panel into the main panel. So let us set the layout of main panel as grid layout with 1 row and 2 columns, and then set the entry panel and button panel. In this way we have kept our entry panel and button panel in main panel. Now let us add this main panel in our frame in the south region. So in this way we have initialized our components and kept our different components with the help of JPanel object. Now we have to create our table object and then default table model object. So we have to add column as role, name and faculty as a column for our table. Now let us set this table model to our table and then add this table with the help of scroll pan in the central region of JFrame. Since center region is by default, so we don't need to say border layout dot center. It is not required because it is default, but if you want you can enter it to explicitly say that I am adding this table in the central region of our frame. Let us set the size and visibility of our frame. Now let us create a main method to check till now what our program is giving output. Let us check the program. Now our frame looks like this with role, name and faculty text field, 4 buttons and a table on the center region of our frame. So now let us work on this table so that it can get data from database and display in this table. Let us go. Let us call a method as set rows from database to table. So let us create this method and set the rows in table from our database. So now we need to work on database. So first of all we need a connection object. So let us make a method to create connection object. For this purpose, first of all we need a connection reference. So let us add a data member here as private static connection con, and let us add a method to create a connection object. So begin with a try block and catch 2 exception object. First one, class not found exception, if driver class not found, and another one as SQL exception if there is any problem with creating connection object. So now load the driver class. I am using MySQL database here, so if you are using Oracle, then please go to my previous video on the JDBC. Here I am using MySQL database. So the driver class for MySQL database as com.mysql.jdbc.driver. Now create the connection object con is equal to driver manager.get connection, and then the URL I have is JDBC colon mysql colon /localhost / my database name, and then the username of database, and then the password. MySQL database has no password, so keeping it blank. So if there is any error, there will be exception, otherwise the connection object will be perfectly created. In the set rows from database to table, let us call this function. If connection is equal to null, then call the create connection method. So let us see, is there any error with this program? So there is a driver class not found exception occur. This is because we do not have added our driver class in our project. So let us add the jar file for MySQL database in our project. So let us go to project and then add a library by right mouse click and add jar or folder. Now I have kept my library file in D drive, JTrain folder, lib folder, and here MySQL connected file I have. If you are using Oracle, then you have to set a library file as JDBC14.jar, and for details you can go to my previous video on JDBC. The link is also given on the screen. So in this way I have added my library file here. So now we can check once again that whether my program is throwing any exception or not. Execute the program. Communication link failed. It is because my database is not ready. My database is shut down and I have to start my database. So let us go to my XAMPP control panel. Now I have to start my MySQL database. So let us recompile the program and check that whether there is any exception. So there is no exception here and our JFrame is working properly. So let us go to add rows from our database. So our connection is successful here. Now create a statement object and result set object reference variable to null. So now we have statement and result set references. Use try block and add a catch block to handle SQL exception if any occur. So let us add variable as query. Our database table name is student DB, so select all from the table name. Student DB is my query, and now a statement object is equal to connection dot create statement, and then result set object is equal to statement dot execute query, and the query is passed here. So now we have result set object. We have to scroll the result set object and fetch the data from the table using next method. And now since I have 3 columns, so I'm creating a array of size 3, and now putting on 0th position is equal to rs.get string and pass the field name as raw. Array 1 is equal to rs.get string and then the field name std name, and array 2 third element is faculty. So in this way I have an array of 3 elements with roll name and faculty. Now I am going to call my data table model to add this string as row in our JTable. So in this way, if there is 3 rows in our database, then this loop will continue for 3 times, and each time an array object will be created. Array object will be filled by roll name and faculty. So let us check the program by execution. So we have our array filled in our table. Now we have to work with these buttons so that we can insert, update, delete these data from the table. So in the next video I will show you that how can we insert, update or delete new data into table as well as communicate with the database. Thank you.